your behalf. One suggestion was that Alice or I get more time to sum up at the end, so we'll try to make sure we have 10 minutes at the end of today's panel to do that. And there's another suggestion that we will try to put into place. I just wanted to remind people about paying for the field trip. The first trip is basically full. If you want to go on those first days, you're going to have to pay today or tomorrow, and then getting very quickly. So if you don't pay the next day or so, it means you're coming on the second trip, leaving on the 25th and coming back on the 27th. Some people have been asking where you pay, and you pay in the College of Science office. So we're all sitting here. If you go outside that door, you're in a car park. If you walk through that car park and then head right, you'll get to the end of this road here, and the road stops, and the College of Science building is building 42. So go upstairs and pay your $85, then take your receipt back to the forestry building, back here, and tell Kathy or Naomi in the front office which of the two trips you want to go on. Is that clear? Any questions about the field trip? No questions about the field trip? It may not be possible, so a reminder if you have to leave to go to anthropology or another course, please go out the back door. So this is something you go out the back door, it's quite easy to get out. The same applies if you're coming late, coming in the back door. So after the break, we'll have the usual question and answer time, and as I said, we'll try to have at least 10 minutes for a sum up again with Alice or myself. So the theme today ties in with your tutorial this week, and also the second collaboration with the National University of Singapore. To make that collaboration work, Luke is going to come to all the tutorials this week and explain the best and easiest ways for that collaboration to happen, and also talk more about what we want you to get out of that collaboration. So the first speaker this afternoon is Rob Dyball, who's one of the conveners of the Human Ecology program. He teaches a course that I hope many of you will be doing this time next year, SRES1001 in Human Ecology. The second speaker is John Sullivan, who's the Manager of Recycling and Sustainable Systems at the ANU, and we'll talk about what the ANU is doing in terms of campus sustainability. The third speaker is Ed Boydell, who many of you know is tutoring in this course. He's an ANU PhD student who has recently returned from an internship at Yale, and I've asked him to talk about that and also what you can be doing on this campus. And the final speaker is Jen McMillin, who's a research fellow from the ANU Integrating Sustainability Project, who's also involved in the sustainability learning communities. And I've asked her to speak also about the practical things that you could be engaged with on this campus. So in this panel, we're talking about both theory and practice. And I'll hope you'll start to see that, that pattern emerge through the talks and during the question time. So hand over to Rob.
So I'm the first of a series of four speakers, and it's my unhappy task to sort of set the ground, and the way to do, I guess, two things. One is to do with the, what you might call the why would we care factor. What are some things we might care about? And also to set the ground for why some of these sustainability problems that we are interested in prove so difficult to get a handle on how they're so intractable. So I call my talk 6 Impossible Things Before Breakfast, and subtitled it The Environmental Impacts of Normality. Anyone in this room not recognise the person in the image? You will not recognise that? Okay, so you all recognise, you all know Alice in Wonderland, yeah? Okay. Okay, you will not recognise this individual. Okay, so It's common when there's a number of things that we often carry around with us as mental baggage. And we like to think that humans are in charge of things. We have this sort of this belief set that we've got our hands on the levers, and going along with that is the idea that if things go wrong, then someone's either at fault and has made a mistake, or perhaps some baggy person out there is in some position of power for some evil design, evil purposes, is doing bad things that are causing all sorts of environmental problems as a result of for whatever motivation they might have. And what we need is dear old Captain Planet to come swooping down and fix these things up for us and make everything right again. You'll hear this a lot in talk, or maybe you'll find yourself using sometimes, when people say they should do something about it, or there's some problem going on, and there's this term, there's this they, some group, powerful body that should do something and fix the problem up. They should do something about it. Okay? And puts you sustainability issues are fundamentally not like this, and what we really need to be focusing on is the society that we're living in, the way it's been structured, and the way it constrains our everyday behaviour and creates expectations and the likes for us. So what I'm really saying is what we need to start focusing on is what are the environmental impacts of your everyday behaviour. Us. So you, all of us. So I just want to do 6 things that you all might have done before breakfast, right, that just about blew your ecological budget for the rest of the day. So the first thing you might think about is, the first thing you did this morning was turn on the light. Those of you who are coming from other students' backgrounds, you normally wait until it's actually at least daylight, if not noon, before you get up. But if those of you actually were still dark in your room when you woke up, you would have turned on the light. Right? This would have helped you contribute to the average domestic energy consumption of Canberra, which is a very, very high 8,500 kilowatt hours. A figure up about 5%, about 10% across 5 years. Okay? Lighting's figure depends, but something in the vicinity of 5% of that figure. And what you're doing is you're turning on the globe like this, is you're actually converting of the 100% of the electricity that you're pouring into that globe, you're converting 90% of that electricity into heat, which is not what you wanted to do. It might actually lead you to turn on the air conditioning unit as well. And only 10% of it is going into light. If you follow the entire energy chain back to the energy density of the coal that was burned to produce the electricity in the first place, the energy content of the coal, about 1% of that energy content is making it down to become radiant energy as light to illuminate the room. The rest of it has been wasted along the way. Across the total 1,000-hour or typical lifespan of one of these globes, you're going to chew up about 100 plus kilograms of greenhouse gas equivalents, and the total cost to you will be about 4 times what it would cost you if you bought a low wattage compact instead. You'll be paying about $100 for about 10,000 hours worth of light, which you could have bought for $25 if you bought a compact. Okay, moving on to the shower. Those of you who did. If you've got an old-fashioned shower head, you might have a flow rate up in the vicinity of about 30 litres per minute. It follows then that you've got a typical sort of 5-minute shower. You've used about 150 kilograms of water to remove what sort of weight of dirt off your body. You don't have to put your hands up for this one, but let's say it's down in the grams. There's a hugely inefficient use of water, that weight of water, to remove that weight of dirt. And if your water was heated from one of those old electric storage heaters that sit outside the Canberra home, spending most of their time heating the Canberra night air, those standard electric storage heaters, you will have over a year produced through your showering activities